The Kaelens were the galaxy's apex predators, an empire built on silicon and crystal biology. Their authority glides through the darkness as diamond-hard dreadnoughts. To a civilization that measured power in metric tons of armor and brute force, humanity appeared primitive. They viewed us as fragile creatures constructed of soft flesh and brittle bone. When Kaelen raiders boarded a civilian human transport, they bypassed the cargo and took Seraphina. They locked her inside a transparent energy cell in their engine room, expecting her to beg for her life. This expectation exposed a vulnerability in alien military doctrine. A civilization that solves every problem by hitting it harder lacks the defenses for warfare waged in the mind. They had invited humanity's oldest, most devastating weapon past their shields, the Femme Fatale, a predator evolved to weaponize her own allure. Rather than cowering, Seraphina sat calmly on the cold metal bench, projecting the confidence of a queen on her throne. The dim light caught her features in stark relief, cloaking half her face in shadow and generating a predatory aura. She slowly lifted her chin, locked onto his eyes, scanned deliberately down his armored torso, and then snapped her gaze right back up to his. The towering alien soldier hesitated. The crystalline structure of his hands began to tremble against his weapon as her gaze established absolute psychological control. She then exploited their biology, using the ship's own ventilation. The Kaelen's logic circuits proved unexpectedly vulnerable to the complex organic molecules of strawberry and tobacco scent, inducing a state of paralyzed confusion. When a target's nervous system is compromised by sensory input, the physical cage becomes irrelevant. She had already breached their defenses without lifting a finger. This invisible subjugation enraged Warlord Xyler. Standing 3 meters tall and encased in diamond-hard biological armor, he stormed into the engine room to demand her submission through sheer mass. Seraphina countered his brute force with the evolutionary structure of human vocal cords. She stood up and gracefully began to hum a dark rendition of an antique lullaby, utilizing her full octave range. Seraphina's piercing soprano note precisely aligns with the resonant frequency of Kaelen's silicon-based biology. Amplified into a physical mass, this vibration shatters the energy shields and fractures the guard's crystalline armor from the inside out. Warlord Xyler collapses. His diamond-hard biology is pulverized into a cloud of sparkling dust by the sheer violence of a single sustained note. Destruction doesn't always require mass or explosives. The most efficient weapons utilize the laws of physics disguised as flawless aesthetics. Stepping over the remains of her prison, Seraphina walked barefoot onto the metal floor, moving through the wreckage with the fluid grace of a dancer. As Kaelen reinforcements flooded the corridors, she transitioned to a low, seductive hum. The frequency induced immediate numbness in their silicon-based nervous systems. When she reached the command bridge, she cut the song entirely. The abrupt silence was more deafening than the music, creating a void that terrified the surviving officers. This silence, combined with her aura, created an illusion of absolute power. The remaining alien crew dropped their heavy weapons to the floor, their confidence utterly destroyed by a creature made of flesh. Hours later, human space marines breached the silent dreadnought. They entered the ship with weapons raised, prepared to recover the remains of a civilian hostage. They found the command bridge coated in the pulverized remains of the Kaelen crew. In the center of the dust, Seraphina sat elegantly in the captain's chair, adjusting her hair. When the commander asked what had happened, she offered a chilling smile. She told him they had simply listened to some music, but the aliens couldn't keep up with the rhythm. This event changed how the galaxy perceived humanity. Hostile races now view our biological adaptability as a deterrent more unpredictable than any military technology. The most devastating weapons in the galaxy don't fire lasers or launch missiles. They whisper old-world songs in the dark.